That's excellent. Arthur, welcome everybody to Sonic Lab.
Hello.
This is Arthur from Expressive E, and this is the Touche, which you may have seen about the place and perhaps wonder what exactly it is. And we're here with Arthur. He's going to show us a lot more in depth about it. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Lovely part. I noticed a lot of, the expressive part of it, it really is expressive, right?
Yeah, it's all about it. So Touche, just to have a little intro, you can connect it to any synthesizer and control that sound with the pressure of your hands. So you can connect it to hardware synthesizer thanks to MIDI and CV connections, and to the software with USB. And the expressivity is really all about it, because as you have seen, it's really sensitive. You can just hit a chord and, scratch the surface of it. It reacts instantly, And also you have a lot of give in it, so you can have small movement and big movement, for more rhythmic stuff. So yeah.
So it's not. It's not like a keyboard. It's not a mod wheel. It's a completely sort of separate entity to that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We really wanted to do like a standalone instrument that you could connect to anything and to bring expressiveness to any synthesizer. So it really is its own thing.
I guess the closest thing you could say is it's kind of XY, isn't it? That's the sort of nature, right?
Yeah, we go more in depth later, but you have 4 shiftings. You have top, bottom, left, and right, and all of those 4 shiftings are independent. You can have top and bottom independently, and the same for left and right. And compared to X and Y axis, you have the feeling of it. That's the sensitive part, which is really important because it's built like an acoustic instrument with a mechanism inside. So I will show you this. But yeah,
that's the one thing, because I had one for a couple of weeks, and you can completely decouple. You can be just one axis, just one, not without effect, or you can affect.
You can blend the two. Yeah. Or if you press in the middle, actually you have the two. Here you have only the top, here only the bottom, and because of this, I can just transition between.
And with this at the moment, you're USB into what? Ableton Live running?
Ableton Live, and we are hosting Lie, which is the companion software for Touche. Thanks to Lie, you can do everything, you can play presets. So this was one of our presets that we give to the customer.
So it comes with a software component,
yeah.
Right, okay,
Exactly.
I've got you. So, but it works in a standalone mode as well. As well as the MIDI, there's the CV control side as well.
We have, on the back of the unit, you have MIDI and CV connections. And when you just get rid of Lie, Touche gets on standalone mode, we call that standalone mode, where the LEDs can become blue and you have different colors of LEDs, and you have up to 24 configurations you can save inside Touche to speak to hardware synths.
Right, and is it limited to a single MIDI or CV layer per axis? Or?
No, you have 4 shiftings, and on each axis you can have one or several CC numbers, so you can have cutoff and amplitude here, and different things here, different things here.
So you could layer them out.
Yeah.
I noticed when you're touching that in the software, it's showing us what's going on with the expressivity, right?
Yeah, exactly. And on the CV part, you have 4 CV outputs, so you can have, for instance, you can say the top shifting is sending all 4 CV outputs, or you could have 1 CV per shifting.
Well, maybe the thing to do is, if you've got a couple more sounds, because I think the thing that really kind of demonstrates it brilliantly is seeing someone utilize the expressivity, because it's not like using a mod wheel. I've had limited experience with it, and it's not like polyphonic aftertouch.
No.
It's a very different experience,
Yeah,
but it feels very sort of organic and visceral.
So I'll show you, here I have a preset that we've met with Massive, so you can also host third-party VSTs inside Lie. So in this case, I can hit a chord, and I will show you the 4 shiftings. You have the bottom, top. I can blend the two.
So that's different registers, effectively.
Yeah. And you have right and left. Different kinds of LFOs. So one main aspect that I can blend.
It's essentially a fairly simple sound, isn't it? But you're adding all of that extra expression.
Only cutoff and LFOs here. So you can, with just simple parameters, I can have a ton of expressivity with it, because I can blend different, axes on it. And also you can go sensitivity, blending, and amplitude, give in it.
Right, okay. And I mean, you were playing, while we were setting up, you were playing some great examples. I wonder if we could just have another couple of sounds. That would be
sure.
Great.
Maybe this one here. I like it a lot.
Almost got a kind of breath control sort of vibe to it without the dribbling.
Yeah, but you have more with breath control. You obviously have only one parameter. Here I can. Very subtle, very sensitive.
So when you get hold of Touche, you've got the Leo, which is the kind of command center, or the sort of the central way of setting up.
Yeah.
I mean, how complicated is it to do all of that, and how much do you need to do?
Very simple. You just install EA and connect Touche to your computer. When it's installed, you already have a list of presets. So we'll just remove my favorite filter. So you have all the plugin presets we have, and if you want to play, you just double click on one you like. So for instance here. And I can just switch to another preset by double clicking it. Okay.
And so that's loading a kind of a software instrument.
Exactly.
Right.
So Lie is a host of plugins. So you can scan for your VSCs and have any of them. So it can be Massive, could be Erector, could be anything basically. And we provide the customers with a UVI workstation, and all our sounds are made with UVI Falcon and ready to be hosted inside UVI workstation. So just double click on it, it plays.
So it'll make a noise,
yeah.
Right? Okay. Is there a standalone version of this as well?
No, not yet, but we are working on it.
Okay, all right. So I mean so the MIDI side, could you just show? I mean, what level of granularity that is there when you're setting up, say, a set of MIDI commands? If you decide what you want to, control something,
like a hardware synth, for instance?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay, so if I want to control a hardware synth, I have different choices. First of all, I want to go to the hardware filter section here, and here are all the presets we've done for the hardware. So we have a lot of them: Novation, Moog, Yamaha, Dave Smith, Korg. Anything. And so you can, for instance, if I say Pro 2, I can double click here, and I have all the names of the parameter I want to control here. So you have 8 slots, and for each slot I can choose, for instance, let's say delay amount, or maybe envelope delay extra. So I can just choose the shifting. So one top shifting is controlling this parameter, bottom shifting is controlling this parameter, and I can go on and on.
So you've gone by and you've named all of the
exactly.
Given them the names, right? Okay.
Or you could just go and select one of our pre-made presets. So here we already have done a preset for the Pro 2, so just select that, save that into Touche, and play with a synthesizer. Or you can make your own sound, just going here, new hardware preset, and there you go from nothing. You have CC numbers, and you select whatever you want to whatever shifting you want, and you go.
Yeah, because I set this up. I did a little demo over the weekend with the SEO2,
demo,
and they haven't listed all the parameters. So one top tip is if you can get a MIDI receiving program so that when you tweak, it says, oh, that's CC 15 or whatever, and it makes it much easier to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So to go get around, we have names. So
I mean, will it learn if you're kind of going, I want this?
No, we're working on this. And as a workaround, we put names because it's easier to put names. But we're working on a solution for that.
So how would we? So setting up a simple, straightforward thing. What have you got controlling here? What could we look at that would demonstrate what the connectivity?
We could look at the innovation peak, for instance. So what I would do would be really easy. I've already done for the unit here, but I could just reach to innovation peak here, which is here. So I could just go to memory view. So this is all the presets I've got inside the unit.
So that's a view of the memory that's stored in here, right?
Yeah, we store presets in it. So you have all the presets here, and you can see I have saved for the Minilog and the peak because these are here.
Yeah.
And once you've done that, you can just flash them into Touche's memory, and I can just get rid of Lie, just remove it. Touche goes in standalone mode. So here it's connected to a computer. I could have connected it to a power adapter.
It's just getting the power from it.
Yeah, exactly. Right, okay. And now it's in standalone mode because you have blue LEDs, and I can just switch presets like this. Each time I switch a preset, it changes the program on the unit.
Okay. So you just plug those MIDI I/O. Are these they're just standard sort of MIDI jack to MIDI DIN adapters?
Yes, exactly. You can just just an adapter. You can unplug it, and
same format as everybody else uses.
Yeah.
Oh,
Standard.
Always nice. So now we're just hooked up via MIDI to the peak, right?
Yep, exactly. So I have the keyboard going into Touche and then going out to the innovation peak.
So it's almost like acting as a soft through. So you're adding the additional parameters to the MIDI as it comes through. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I just play keys with the key step. Sound comes from the innovation peak, and I can.
I mean, the express. And what is this? Is this outputting CCs, not NRPN or SysX?
No,
it's just,
CC.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the only data that it will output over MIDI, or is there other stuff? That
No, for the moment we only send MIDI.
Okay.
We're working on NRPN and SysX.
If you can figure out a way to make NRPN programming easy for the user, that would be great as well.
Yeah.
That's a bigger problem than I think you'd need to fix. So the mapping of this. Again, did you change programs when you changed presets, or have you got some?
When I changed presets on Touche, it sends a program change to the unit, so it switches the preset here.
So what you've done is your presets match, so that the control mappings match the preset.
Exactly. We have init patches in all Innovation peaks and all hardware synthesizers, and we basically take the parameters we think are good to control them with Touche. So someone who has an Innovation peak at home can just plug Touche, save the presets we designed for it, and just start playing immediately. So
Right. Okay. So have you got another couple of sounds in here? That...
It's more like a chord.
And again, I mean, you can get expressivity, I guess, if you're using the pitch and mod and aftertouch, but it's not.
It's really not. Is the same thing.
It's the tactile nature of it. I suppose that's what makes it kind of unique, because I mean, in the comments that I got from the video I posted, people say, "Oh, well, what's wrong with the mod wheel?" And it does feel very different.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I'll show you why. This is called the skin. We call it the skin, and you can lift it. It's magnetic, okay. And underneath, you have a true mechanism, like a key from a piano, for instance. And you have the cylinder here, which is responsible for the pressure feedback, okay. And you have the slider. Here it's on top, so it's very stiff. If I make it on bottom, it's very loose.
So you can
can adjust the pressure feedback of the whole unit. So it makes it very alive, you know. And when you touch it, when you press it, it really has a very different feeling than a mod wheel, because when you are on the mod wheel, you have to go from 0 to 100% and back, you know. You can just be percussive with it, and when you are percussive, you can have like soft and hard gestures. So it really is much more immediate, much more intuitive when you play with it.
Right. Okay, I've got you. So the other aspect to this, obviously, you could use control CV, which is something that a lot of kind of hardcore synthesis modular people are getting excited about, because, I mean, I've seen people. I think Will Gregory's Moog Orchestra, they use breath controllers.
Yeah.
Because that gives them this sort of level of expression. Whereas this, you know, you're going to have up to 4 potential.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, with 4 different CV opus, you can really shape your sound like you want. And once again, it's very intuitive. It's like you have something in your head, and when you're a bit used with Touche, you can, you know, really feel the music. You know, you touch it actually. And
I guess, so how would you, could you record the performance? You'd have to go sort of via...
Yeah, sure. So, of course, if it's in MIDI directly to the synth, you couldn't, if you have something external. When you are in USB with the computer, you can just record a clip and, you know, in Ableton Live and just make it...
Right, so the MIDI would come, we could record the MIDI over USB and output the MIDI to that at the same time.
For instance, could be a solution,
Right, okay. So you've got the Minilog here as well.
Yeah.
Have you got some patches set up for that?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's good. I mean, obviously the peaks are lovely, but the Minilog probably more people are going to be owning at this stage.
I will just need to plug it there. So here's the bass, for instance. Bass sound.
So once again, when you change programs, you've matched the control parameters.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Right. Okay.
So you don't have to switch 2 times. Just switch
So
here.
what were the Axis doing there? Was there a pitch bend in there as well?
Yeah. So pitch bend on the side, and like here. So you have 2 different.
It really does come alive, isn't it? Okay, so when you're setting the parameters, can you set the kind of the start and the end point and the range of them so that you're not always just doing 100%?
I will show you in Lié. It's very easy, very fast. Let me just find the plugin which is here. Okay, so when you're in Lié, you have those 8 slots you can see here. Okay, so I'll just do a quick parameter with you. Just new one, empty. I can choose the shiftings I want. I can choose the CC numbers I want that shifting to control. So here bottom is CC20, top is CC13, and etc. I can also have different CC for the same shifting. And then you can adjust the amplitude of it by moving these sliders. So in this case, the bottom will move from here to here, okay?
Okay.
And I can adjust that. And I can also draw curves. So I can have, here I have a linear curve. I can like bend it one way or the other.
Exponential or logarithmic,
and
right?
Yeah, and you can even you can even draw it, which is very, very nice for CV action, because when you are on CV, you can just select, for instance, the top shifting and draw a gate with it. And in this case, Touche will send a gate trigger.
So you can use it to actually trigger as a pad, effectively, right?
Exactly. So you can have like 4 different triggers on all 4 sides, or have the top who has a trigger plus a linear curve. So you can trigger a note and control it, while you're triggering it.
So I noticed that there's a menu on the voltage selector. So what voltage scaling?
So we've got 0 plus 5, minus 5 plus 5, 110, and minus 10 plus 10. So all voltages you could.
Quite a wide range there. Okay. And I noticed in the MIDI side of things, just want to come back to the MIDI mappings. So you've got 8. So you could assign multiple CCs at different scalings and different rates to the same.
Exactly. For instance, let me show you. I will just do all 4 first slots to the top shifting. So top shiftings move them all. And I can have CC13 here, CC20, CC11, whatever, and have different amplitudes for each. So you can really go deep into sound designing your stuff and playing it live then.
So I guess also, I mean, is it possible that this could receive program changes? Because sometimes if you're doing like a live set and you've got a live or whatever running, and you often send out MIDI controllers, MIDI program changes, this would change at the same time. So everything would be ready for you to play your top line or whatever. So this will receive program changes.
So for the moment, we only send it, but really soon we will add program change receiving as well.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's the thing, because each time, a different sound, you might want different things. Okay.
Yeah, but for the moment, Touche can send program change, so it's easier, to control things directly with Touche. It's like an add-on, but I got your point. So
we've got the CV, we've done the MIDI side, we've looked at the software side of things. What about CVs? We've got a CV guy here, which is obviously the Mode 32. Perhaps you could just show us how that hooks up. Yeah, so I will just unplug the MIDI just for the thing. So now we're on USB. I will just quit Lié and select the first preset, because I have CV voltages that are good for the Mode 32. So I've got the cutoff frequency here, plug it in the top shifting, which is CV out number 2. We have something. So you have. This is more like a mode wheel, but I can. But that's just what, but you could have up to 4. Yeah. Right, okay. Exactly, I can just hook another one here, which is LFO rate, let's say on the bottom. And in this case, I will just write the LFO. Subtle. Plenty of low end in that as well. Okay, so that covers those side of things. I mean, but you can have the CV and the MIDI. So you can actually have, Can you set it up so that if you've got a CV plugged into one, you can have it not sending anything, so that you can just use the MIDI mapping?
Yes, you could. You just remove the shifting. So you say, okay, this CV out has no shiftings attributed to it.
Right.
Yeah, and you can at the same time send CV informations, MIDI informations, and USB informations. So you can have like Touche connected to a CV synth, a MIDI synth, and a virtual synth, and control
so
all
you
of
could
them.
stack up a really massive bass sound and just have it. Right. Okay, I see. Just coming back to Lie software.
Yep.
Those patches that you have, I mean, are they available to kind of tweak yourself, or are they kind of hidden away inside? So the plugins that we were looking at, some of the sounds you played at the beginning.
Yeah. So we have different types of sounds. We have the workstations presets that we give to the customers with Workstation, which is free. So those ones, you can, I'll just select one here. You can see you have 4 shiftings here used. So I can just tweak this. For instance, I can select.
But the actual thing that's making the sound, the synth, do you get access to that?
So, yeah. So you just need to open the eye here, which gives you the interface of Workstation. But in this case, you have very few parameters because it's something we designed for the purpose.
Right.
But if I select, for instance, I go to my favorites here, just to find one of my favorite preset, which is here, which is made with Massive. Okay.
Right.
And with Massive, I'll just wait till it loads. You can actually access to the whole interface by clicking on the eye here. So I've got the interface here. I can just tweak the parameters like I need. But in this case, I have the 4 macros here being controlled by Touche. Okay.
Right.
If I wanted to do quickly a parameter from scratch, I would select New Plugin Preset here. Just select Massive on the list here. Then once Massive is loaded, I will open the interface. Okay, here. And now I've got like basic Massive sound. I will just add.
So you can add your own macros. So okay, I see. I understand how that works. So while we're on the subject and in software, can we have a listen to some more sounds and maybe some more examples of mapping?
Sure. So in this case, I have preset, which is quite simple. Just hit a note once again, and I bring a chord with Touche, which has a bit of different harmonics on the top, and I can. And one thing I like as an artist, I like to to switch between types of playing. So for instance, here it was progressive. I like to begin like this and then be percussive, like. And so this was a more pad sounds of sorts.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, quite often as keyboard players, we program rhythms with our fingers on the keys. I mean, I'm guessing with this, you can use it in terms of rhythmic approaches as well, right?
I actually have a preset which is really nice for our rhythmic stuff. I'll just launch a key and. So you have 3 different shiftings: kick, snare, and hi-hat, and I can even. So yeah, very
I mean, I guess it would be interesting to be able to have actual note values to come out as well. Is that something that
I guess it's on our roadmap as well. Yeah, we don't have it yet, but it's on our roadmap to add notes on shiftings.
So then you could. That's really interesting. It is very I mean, I keep saying expressive, but the tactile nature of it. Because quite often I find, even with just a regular keyboard, it's very hard to find the right action that translates what you've got in your head to what you're trying to. Whereas this feels much more sort of physically linked.
Because it's mechanical, that's the whole point of it. So because it's mechanical, you have a lot of give, and because you have a lot of give, it's differently. Like with an aftertouch, you are playing on a very tiny amount of space. Here you have. You can really control it, very intuitively. So it feels much more natural to your fingers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, while we're seeing sort of the extreme ends, it is possible
Yeah.
to kind of push down hard and have multiple axes of modulation at the same time, right?
Yeah, what you need with the bottom and top, but you can also have it like full bottom, and while on bottom you can have the top as well. So let me show you this. I've got preset. So just a chord, bring in the bass. Right.
There's quite a lot going on there. So on this axis, you had the volume of that bass arpeggio.
Yeah.
On that one, the filter, and on that side, an additional arpeggio, and on that side, some kind of notch band filter. So high pass, notchy. Oh, that really makes me want to do filter mouth. That one.
Yeah.
So this is available now. I mean, it's been available for a little while.
Yeah, like since May, June. So yeah.
Right. Okay. And where do people get hold of this? I mean, how can people buy it?
So they can buy it on our website and in physical dealers all across Europe, in Australia, US, Canada, Japan. So
I think in the UK it's sourced to distribution, isn't
exactly,
it?
it's sourced distributed. Yeah.
And what's the UK and sort of EU price? I mean, have you got prices to hand?
So our official price list is like €399 for the unit.
Right.
So I don't know how it is translated in UK pounds.
So whatever currency it works out. So I mean, it's quite a premium thing, but I think the thing is it's not replacing anything you've already got, is it? It's got something...
It's really an addition because we don't want people to relearn something. They just use their gear and they take Touche to bring expressiveness to their gear. And it's quite not really expensive because you've got the unit, the physical hardware unit, but you also got the software, all the presets that we've done with it, and you have MIDI and CV foliage, so you can talk to anything. So yeah.
Arthur, thank you very much for showing us. I guess you might have a sound or two you could play us out with.
Sure.
While you set that up, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. That was Sonic Lab. That was the Touche from Expressive E. See you next time.